I'll never forget the day I met Daniel, a quiet, unassuming little boy who changed my life in ways I didn't expect. It was a warm afternoon, and I was sitting on a bench at the park, enjoying the sound of kids playing and the rustle of leaves in the breeze. After serving 20 years in the military, these moments of peace meant the world to me, but that day, the peace didn't last long. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw 3 boys crowding around another child near the basketball court. The tension was obvious, raised voices, aggressive gestures. I knew the signs of bullying all too well. My instincts kicked in. The boy in the middle, Daniel, was clutching his backpack like it was a shield. His face was pale, his lips trembling. The other boys were taunting him, calling him names, and shoving him back whenever he tried to walk away. I couldn't sit there and do nothing. "Hey!" I called out, standing up and walking toward them. My voice was sharp but calm. "What's going on here?" The bullies froze. They looked at me, then at each other, and mumbled something about just playing. But I wasn't buying it. "This doesn't look like playing," I said firmly. "It's time to leave him alone." The boys shuffled off, throwing a few last glances my way before disappearing down the path. I knelt down to Daniel's level. "You okay, buddy?" I asked gently. He nodded, but his eyes were shiny with unshed tears. "Thank you," he whispered. I offered him a smile. "No need to thank me. Everyone deserves to feel safe." We sat on the bench together for a while. Slowly, Daniel began to open up. He told me about how the bullying had been going on for weeks, how he dreaded coming to the park, but didn't want to miss out on playing outside. Listening to him broke my heart. "Tell your parents about this, Daniel," I urged. "They need to know." He hesitated, but eventually agreed. A few days later, I was back at the park when I saw Daniel again. This time, he wasn't alone. A tall man with kind eyes and a firm handshake approached me. "You must be the man who helped my son," he said, his voice thick with emotion. I nodded, and Daniel's father introduced himself as Michael. He explained how Daniel had come home and shared everything that had happened. Michael said he was furious at first, angry that his son had been dealing with this, but then his anger turned into gratitude when Daniel mentioned me. "Thank you for stepping in," Michael said, his voice breaking. "You didn't have to, but you did, and that means the world to me." Before I could respond, Michael pulled out a small envelope and handed it to me. Inside was a handwritten note and a gift card. I started to protest, but he raised his hand. "Please," he said, "this is just a small token of appreciation. My family and I owe you so much more than this." I read the note later at home. It was heartfelt, thanking me for protecting Daniel and for reminding them that there are good people in the world. That note meant more to me than anything I'd ever received. In the weeks that followed, I saw Daniel and his dad at the park often. Daniel seemed happier, more confident, and every time he saw me, he'd wave and shout, "Hi, Mr. James." That simple greeting warmed my heart every time. Looking back, I didn't think much about stepping in that day. It just felt like the right thing to do, but seeing the impact it had on Daniel and his family reminded me that even small actions can make a big difference.